guys, my name is Lucia and today I'm going to be doing my second video about the battle of the makeup releases. I did this video in the summer, I will link it down below. I used to really only do anti-hauls because up until very recently there were hardly any things that actually interested me that were coming out, but there have been some things recently that are coming out that are interesting and that I want to talk about. Really quick, I have a cut on my lip and I didn't want to put concealer on it because who wants to get concealer in a cut? So please don't mind that, but let's just get right on into it. I will be getting these photos from Trend Mood on Instagram, and the first thing I want to talk about is something so many of you guys have tagged me on Instagram, and you guys have been asking in the comments below, and it is the Huda Beauty Precious Stones eyeshadow palette collection. I am so excited about this collection. I will preface this by saying, if you are not familiar with my channel, I don't buy everything that I am excited about because I don't love to have a lot of repeats in my collection, but you don't need to buy something in order to appreciate it. This collection is everything that I have been waiting for. They took colors and they made a little palette for each color. I'm not sure if I'm going to pick up any of them. If I did, it would either be the purple one or the green one. So many people have been asking me what I think of the blue one, and it looks amazing. I don't need any more blue shadows. I have my Icy Betch dupe palette. It's just so refreshing to see a brand do something so exciting. I love the packaging. It's beautiful. I love the idea of taking the diamonds, and it really does have a color story, but even if the packaging didn't have a color story, it speaks for itself. They took a color and they ran with it with these mini palettes. I love them so much. Let me know if you guys are going to pick any of them up. I feel like I've really covered my grounds when it comes to color in my eyeshadow collection, but the green one is intriguing me. I'm feeling green because of fall, but I'm not sure if I'm really feeling teal, which is why I hesitate. Not that I think that this palette shouldn't have teal in it. I really like the palette, just my taste right now. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it, but I'm super excited about this release. All right, let's talk about the release that I am really torn on, and I would love to hear your opinion. This is the Holiday 2018 Gingerbread Spice eyeshadow palette from Too Faced. I have crapped on so many eyeshadow palettes from Too Faced, including all of their holiday releases, but I have to say, out of all the holiday releases that I've ever seen, this is the only one where I'm like, okay, they did something here. And let me explain to you what I'm thinking. So looking at this palette, I asked on Instagram what you guys thought, and most of you said, it's so boring, it's just like the modern Renaissance, and I totally get that. The colors aren't particularly unique, but I do think they did a good theme here. I think the gingerbread theme is so cute. Usually they have those big palettes where it has face products and eyeshadow. They're usually terrible quality and it's a whole display of Christmas and everything. This looks like one of their chocolate bar palettes, and I don't know what the formula is like. I watched Trend Mood on YouTube do swatches and they looked good. I don't like the Too Faced formula that much, but I'm not sure, so I'll have to watch reviews when people start reviewing this. I know Paige from Thrifty Beauty just bought this. Cannot wait to hear her review. In terms of the eyeshadows, they're not particularly special, but they're also not so boring that I can't believe they even came out with this. I think it's the better of the holiday collections that they've done, and I understand why you would want this. It's not just that the packaging is cute, it's that it makes sense. I feel a cookie vibe. I feel the gingerbread vibe from this palette, and it's something sort of different. It's not different like the Huda Beauty thing I just talked about. It's not like, whoa, this color and this color story, but it's something different compared to what I expect from Too Faced. When I saw this from their holiday release, I was like, huh, that's not what I expected. Now, I'm not planning on buying this or anything, but it's intriguing to me. And I really want to hear what you guys think because I am not hating on this one. I know it's crazy. I always hate on the Too Faced palette. It's interesting. I'm not saying it's the best palette to ever come out ever, but I think in terms of holiday collections, they went down a pretty smart route with this one. A release that is not holiday or eyeshadow palette related. This is the new MAC Cosmetics Powder Kiss lipsticks. They're coming out with 16 shades of a new lipstick formula. It is described as a soft focus moisture matte weightless formula. Comfy like a lip balm with silken view. Now, I am super intrigued by this because I love MAC lipsticks. I have used up MAC Twig, I am using up right now MAC Mocha, and I have MAC Whirl. I really like the formula, but the mattes are very drying. It's weird, the lipstick in the picture actually looks like powder, but I don't know if this is supposed to be a more sheer formula. I wouldn't necessarily go out and buy one, but it's really cool to see something as old as MAC lipsticks, which is such a classic. Everyone used to love those and have those. It's cool to see them coming out with a new lipstick formula. When they came out with their liquid lipstick formula, I wasn't impressed. I've never tried it, but I saw awful reviews, and just in general, I wasn't impressed by their liquid lipstick, the packaging and everything, but this is intriguing to me, and I wonder if people will be excited about this. People definitely are not as excited about MAC as they used to be. It's so funny. Every time I say that on my channel, I get people saying, that's not true, how could you say that? World doesn't revolve around YouTube, but it's absolutely true. If you go back in time to 5 years ago, MAC was everything, and now MAC is one of the brands and they have their cult following, and I'm not saying they're not popular. I love their lipsticks, but they're not what they used to be, and I'm intrigued to see how this release will go down, or if it will get lost in all the holiday collections that are coming out right now. Next, we have a palette from Natasha De Nonna, the Safari palette. This is $129. Liv always says Natasha De Nonna because of that price. I will link her channel down below. Love her. This is an interesting one. The palette is all green from the front, and the top row is definitely something different. There is a blue, an olive green, a gray, and then another green. The rest of the palette just kind of looks like every palette that we've seen. I wish this was more cool toned and more safari-like. It just doesn't feel special. This is an all matte palette, so I think that's the thing that's supposed to be super special about this. The colors aren't intriguing to me. If you take away that top row, this could be the Too Faced Gingerbread palette, but with all mattes and added in a red. It's just not revolutionary. It takes so much to get me excited about a new eyeshadow palette because they're all the same. I would never buy this anyway. It doesn't matter if this was the most beautiful palette ever, like $129. I am a college student. You best believe I am not spending $129 on an eyeshadow palette. Next, we have a controversial one. This is the Kat Von D Fetish Collection for the holidays, which includes two palettes. One is a cheek palette and one is an eyeshadow palette. From the picture that I'm looking at, I don't see what the packaging on the outside looks like, but when I saw this palette, my first thought was that it looked like her last holiday palette. Oh, the Saint and Sinner. Okay, I couldn't remember the name of it. I was gonna say, what is it? The Saint and Sinner palette. It's not like that, but it just reminded me. It's not like that though, don't get me wrong, that was a more rainbow one and this is a more cool toned one. I like the colors in here, but it's nothing special. Now, I have said before on my channel, I'm not taking sides or stance or anything that has to do with her brand. We all know the controversy. I'm just talking about the release just in terms of the eyeshadow. It's nothing special. It's definitely a little bit different. There's a little bit more cool tones, some greens, but it's nothing special. And the cheek palette, the tones are not something I would love. There is a liquid lipstick and it looks like it might have glitter in it. I can't exactly tell from this picture, but just in general, this isn't that impressive. Mi Vida Loca remix will never be lived up to. It just won't be. I think that's always how it's going to be, and every year people will buy the holiday palette because they want it to be Mi Vida Loca remix, but it is not. I was going through Trend Mood and I was seeing all the holiday collections, and then I got to this collection from Wet n Wild, and it's the Halloween month collection. And I was like, wait, what? We're doing that now? Which is so funny to me. Can you believe holiday collections when you think about it? Why do they come out right now? We really do skip over a big time for makeup, which is Halloween. And I know Halloween's more for kids and whatever, and holidays is a bigger deal, but it's interesting to see a brand doing something for Halloween when everything else on Trend Mood is holidays, Christmas, gingerbread. So this is the Fantasy Makers collection. They have a bunch of stuff. They have some highlights. They have a black highlight. I'm going to talk about black highlights in a later video, but no. That's all I will say for now. now. The only thing that was intriguing to me is the Color Icon Shade Shifting Blush in Zombie Blush. This definitely would not be a blush on my skin tone. I think you would have to be very deep in order for this to be a blush, but this definitely would make a beautiful eyeshadow, and it does look unique. Just in general, I liked the fact that they had a holiday collection. Now these rainbow highlights, I don't know why these are still coming out. That came out, what, my senior year of high school? It's been 2 years since that was a thing, and I think we're all pretty much over the unicorn rainbow highlight stripe thing. Let me know what you think of that blush. It definitely would work on somebody. I really don't know. It wouldn't work on my skin tone, but it would be an interesting eyeshadow. I mean, I guess it's called a zombie blush. It would work on my skin tone if I was trying to be a zombie or trying to do something for Halloween, but I'm intrigued. I'm not gonna buy it, but I like to see something different. Morphe came out with a new palette. It is the Boss Mood palette. For Morphe, it's different considering every single palette they come out with looks exactly the same to me. They're all warm-toned orange, so they have a couple with some purples in them, but besides the Jaclyn Hill palette, they all look the same to me. This is a little bit different. The top 2 rows have some yellows and some greens, but it's nothing that I would ever buy. It's not revolutionary. I think it's good that the brand is getting a little bit more out of their comfort zone, but just in terms of the world of makeup, this isn't out of anyone's comfort zone in my opinion. Maybe this would be interesting to you if you wanted some yellows and greens and you don't own any. I can only speak for myself. I wear color, I enjoy color, and this is fine. I mean, the eyeshadows themselves look pretty, the purples and the reds. It's just nothing new. Colourpop is doing a fall edit collection with a fun animal print. First thing is a highlighter palette, then you have a bunch of lipsticks, including a blue one, which is pretty cool. There is the Good Sport eyeshadow palette, and that's what I want to talk about. This palette is interesting. I wish they didn't have 2 orange shades. If they replaced those orange shades with a green and maybe a darker green or a darker purple or something else, I think this might be more intriguing because Trooper, EBB, Licious, and Sista look really interesting, and Hooked. They do have some interesting shades, but then I feel like half of this palette is gold, an orange, a brown. Interesting for Colourpop. It's out of Colourpop's range in terms of the same old, but it's not something I'm screaming over. I would be interested to try this out. I don't think I will, but when it comes to Colourpop, I like their formulas. I would be interested to see what looks I would do. I really like the shade EBB and Trooper, so this isn't a no from me, but it's not a strong yes. I wish they didn't have that orange. I don't really see how that works in this palette. I think that a green, a matte green would have been much better. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked palette. It is another holiday palette. It is $80, which is so expensive, but that's always how they are. And honestly, this just looks like every palette they ever come out with for the holidays, but a little bit deeper. They definitely made it for slightly deeper skin tones. I wouldn't buy this because I don't think most of these shades would work on me. It's nice that they're trying to cater towards slightly darker skin tones. I still don't think this is gonna work on you if you're a really dark skin tone, but just in general, I find these palettes to be boring. I've never purchased anything from Hourglass. The one time that they had that holiday palette with the marble on it, that was really pretty, but just in general, if you own one of the Hourglass holiday palettes, don't you own them all? They're not different in any way, except this one, which is slightly darker shades. So if that is something that is of interest to you, or you have a darker skin tone, but it's not that much darker, I don't know. I hope I'm making sense. It's great that they made it a little bit darker, but I think they should come out with 2 different palettes. They should come out with the light one and, you know, something like the Juvia's Place blush palette that it's actually very dark and can work on very dark skin tones. Lastly, we will talk about the Urban Decay Elements eyeshadow palette. This is their palette for the holidays. I am impressed by this. I don't think I would purchase it. It's sort of a rainbow palette. When I think of rainbow palettes, I mainly think of neon, but this is pretty rainbow. It has a range of colors. We've got the pink, the purple, the red, the green, the blue. But the reason I think that this is interesting is because it is something new. The design is new. I like the look of the palette. I don't know if I would like to own a circular palette. I've never owned one before. Sounds kind of annoying. I like that it has cool tones. I am more interested in seeing palettes that have cool tones. Okay, I see people using it on YouTube and I'm like, okay, that looks nice. I would not buy it, but I think that it's something different enough that I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Oh, actually, I lied. I want to talk about the Urban Decay Naked Cherry palette, but I don't even want to talk about it because that's how boring it is to me. Just, I get why. It looks like every other palette that's coming out, but like more subdued than that. Alright guys, that was everything for this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below about anything I talked about. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye!